It's almost wintertime here in northern Nevada, and if you've never been here during the wintertime, there's just something magical about winter in Reno Tahoe. And maybe it's a sight of fresh snow sparkling in the sunshine, or the sound of skis and snowboards racing down a freshly groomed ski run. I know I can't wait for when the snow starts to show up. Or maybe it's the wind in your face as you ride through a winter wonderland on a snowmobile. But there's a number of other fantastic things you can do here. So with so many amazing activities in Reno Lake Tahoe, you'll be sure to have a great time whether you're here and you're a local, or you're making your first trip to visit up to northern Nevada. I can promise you're going to have a wonderful time. So grab your warmest coat, a fuzzy hat, and some cozy gloves, and you're about to head out for a terrific adventure. So I'm going to tell you about all the exciting Reno Tahoe winter activities and what makes northern Nevada a premier destination this winter and every winter. So of course here in northern Nevada, number one is going to be skiing and snowboarding. I'm a snowboarder. Depending on where you want to go can be a huge difference in your drive, and there are 16 different ski resorts. For me, and a lot of locals, if you live in South Reno, my old house used to be able to get to Mount Rose Ski Resort in 20 minutes, but there are lots of other ski resorts, whether I'm going to Palisades or we're going to Heavenly, that can be a much further drive. If you're local or if you're just planning a trip to go skiing and snowboarding here, you need to pay attention to one, where are you staying and what kind of drive you might have. And part of that becomes the weather conditions. Part of it becomes, is it a holiday weekend? There's just lots of things to consider on your drive up there. If you're a half-day person, you might want to go mornings or afternoons. And again, you also really need to pay attention to the ski and snow reports, because it's crazy as it sounds, when you get to the south end of the lake versus the north end of the lake, the ski conditions can be dramatically different. Not every place loves snowboarders. And if you're looking for things like half pipes and rails and parks or cross-country areas, or like out of bounds, I call them out of bounds areas, but if you're going through the trees, some resorts are going to be better than others as far as where that goes. So there's just a lot of different things to consider. We're going to put a link down below called visitrenotahoe.com. And if you go to that website, it'll give you details about all these different ski resorts and all these different areas based upon what your needs might be, depending on what you're looking for in a mountain. Number two is cross-country skiing. And I always make a big joke. Unlike downhill skiing, cross-country skiing does not rely on gravity. So you don't need to worry about the vertical drop of what the ski resort is. But it is a good time. It is a great workout. I particularly am not a cross-country skier, but some things I found out about that I did not know about cross-country skiing is that in Reno Tahoe, we are home to the largest cross-country ski resort there is. It's at Royal Gorge. They have 19 cross-country ski trails. They have 6,000 acres terrain, and they're connected to Sugar Bowl, which means if someone wants to go cross-country skiing and somebody else wants to go snowboarding, you can go to these resorts and both go your separate ways and do different things. I also found out that Tahoe Donner was voted as one of the top 3 cross-country ski areas in all of North America by USA Today, and they have roughly 100 kilometers of groomed trails. For those of you that might be new to cross-country skiing, there's a huge difference between going out on groomed trails versus ungroomed. It already is a big workout, but if you want to get off the beaten path a little bit on cross-country skis, it's going to be a little more difficult. So just pay attention to where you're going as far as groomed versus ungroomed. There's plenty of places you can go to do your cross-country skiing. Okay, another fun thing you can do up there is called snowshoeing. And if you don't know what snowshoeing is, I basically say it's like hiking in the wintertime. You attach these big shoes onto your existing boots or shoes. If you are going to do this, especially if you're going to be up around Lake Tahoe, you're not going to want to forget your camera. You're going to get great action scenes, you're going to get great scenic landscapes, and on occasion you're even going to get wildlife interactions. But if you go and snowshoe around what's called Chickadee Ridge, you can literally hold your hand out and put bird food in your hand, and the birds will literally fly up and eat the food. You can also snowshoe at Mount Rose, and it'll give you the best of both worlds, where you'll get views back towards Lake Tahoe and towards Reno. And if you're not really looking at making the trek all the way up to Lake Tahoe, there's another great place. It's about a 20-minute drive from downtown Reno, but it's really close if you live in South Reno, which is called Galena Creek Park. And there's going to be a lot more easy, moderate trails. They're pet friendly, so you can bring your pets onto these hiking trails. It won't be quite as steep and up and down, and typically there's less snow, which means if you actually just wanted to go hiking and not snowshoeing, you've got a better chance to do that. So just pay attention to the weather reports, because I don't think people realize we get so much more snow up at Lake Tahoe than we do down in the valley and in the lower lying areas. So just be careful and know if you pay attention whether you actually need your snowshoes or you can just go on a regular hiking trail. All right, so here's one of your more fun, exciting things you can do. It's called snowmobiling. I'm sure all of you have heard about this, and snowmobiling is one of those things where you can get off the beaten path and a little further into the woods where there's going to be better powder. There are also snowmobile operators. You can go out on a guided tour, which might be a smart way to go if you have younger kids. There's also ones you can rent and go out on your own. And of course, if you own your own snowmobiles, those are the best people to talk to, because they'll know exactly where to go, where to take you. Be careful. Some of these can be 9,000, 10,000 feet in elevation. So you just have to be paying attention and don't get caught up in watching the views and just having a good time, and all of a sudden you're lost and you don't know exactly where you are. Here's one one that's not that common, but it is Sleigh Rides. And yes, in Reno Tahoe, you can get a sleigh ride. And if you talk to people, they'll just tell you it's not for fairy tales, but you can get an actual horse-drawn sleigh ride. And it's a great way to relax and absorb the landscape up in Lake Tahoe. There's a few different places that do it. I know they do it at Sand Harbor, and I'm sure at some of the more resorty type places you can get a good sleigh ride. But if that's something you're into, just like you see in big cities where they're, horse-drawn carriages through cities, you can actually go do this out in the snow. Another fun thing you can do, and of course when I looked it up, they call it snow tubing. If you're driving to Reno and you're coming from the Bay Area, you can plan to go to one of the rest stops. And these rest stops are managed by the state of California, and they're in Tahoe all along the way. They're calling them snow parks, and it gives you a place you can get out and stretch your legs. And if you're into sledding or inner tubing, or even there's some areas where you can go snowshoeing, there's lots of places up there right off the highway that you can do it. So if you're down and staying in Reno, you can go to the Galena Creek Visitors and Recreation Area, which is basically, again, right off Melrose Highway, and play in the snow there. Just know that it's not going to be as steep, but during the winter months, you can find enough snow to do snow angels and make a snowman and make a snow fort with your family. So there's plenty of fun things to do down there. It's more fun probably for littler kids than older kids, and you can also bring your pets. It's a pet-friendly area. And then one more thing that has now become a much bigger thing to do in Reno than it used to be is ice skating. So there is an ice rink at the Grand Sierra Resort, and it is one of the biggest rinks there are. It's over 8,000 square feet, so there's plenty of room that you can do it there. We also have a new indoor ice rink at Reno Ice, which is the community center. It's on South Reno off of Wedge Parkway, so it's close to Mount Rose Highway. You can take just regular skating lessons. You can join a hockey league. You can do figure skating. So there's all kinds of different options at the indoor skating rink. And of course, that's a year-round thing, not just a winter event. And sometimes during the winter months, it depends on the weather. In downtown Reno, they will put another outdoor skating rink that's only there part of the year during the holidays. So if you're up at Lake Tahoe and you want to go ice skating, there's a few different options for you that you can go to. So there's the North Star Ice Skating Rink. There's the resort at Squaw Creek that also has an ice skating rink, and it's not even Squaw Creek anymore. It's the Palisades, but it is up at elevation up at the top. You take the tram up there. If you've never been up there, it's a pretty fun thing, even if you're not into ice skating. And then the third place you can go, which is on the South Lake, is at Heavenly Village. They have an ice skating, and where their ice skating is, there's also all kinds of other, you can do a private event. They have daily openings. If you're the kind of person though that wants to come up here in the wintertime, is not into all these outdoor activities, there are lots of other great things that you can do indoors. But if you go to visitrenotahoe.com, again, we'll put the link down below, you can get the phone numbers, the information specific to all these particular places. It's really easy to find. Their website's really easy to use. And if you're enjoying the content we're putting out there, by all means, subscribe to the channel. We'll put more information about other winter things that might be going on later this year. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on another video coming soon.